Hello, we are London Spitfire. Welcome to OMEN Esports Report.
Now, if you're particularly observant, you might have noticed I am not Frankie. Sadly, she couldn't make today's show. Sadly for her, that is, because it did mean I'm invited to step in for what is set to be a very special show.
That's right, Elle, an absolute pleasure to have you here. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got the current Overwatch League champions in the building, the London Spitfire. Round of applause for them, and you'll be seeing a lot of those special guests throughout our show.
And as if that wasn't enough, we are also going to be joined by procaster and Overwatch aficionado, Jason Kaplan, who'll be helping us talk through some of the very biggest esports and gaming news.
Mr. J Cap. But first, she's an esports veteran. I'm told a lover of cats, and of course, the GM of the London Spitfire. It's Miss Suzie Kim. Great to see you, Suzie. How's it going?
Great. Nice to see you guys here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you here in London. Elle, let's get stuck into the topics at hand.
Now, there's a question I really want to ask, and that is, you are somebody that is just so well known in esports. You've done pretty much everything. You've been a host, you have been a caster, you've even been a translator, and now, you're just the GM of the world's best Overwatch team. So what made you kind of want to do this transition?
It was just the next step, wasn't it, right? You get a piece of everything. And no, actually, over the course of the years, I've been in esports for like 12 years at this point. I figured all of my skill sets and just kind of put them all together. I was a teacher for a while. I studied counseling, and I figured this is probably the natural step, and I'm really happy I made that transition.
And what is it exactly that your role of GM entails for London Spitfire?
I'm their mom.
Yeah, I've seen that around when you're with them. You're very much, hands-on. You okay? Like, you feeling good?
Yeah, my job, of course, I take care of logistical things. I take care of all the administrative things. But my job is mainly to make sure that everything's running smoothly, everyone's happy, there's no issues, no one's hurt. It's just the well-being of the team altogether.
I think one of my favourite things that you told me earlier is that you've made them all Oyster card holders.
I did.
And they also have a little message inside.
The London Underground?
Yes.
Yeah, so I got them these little lanyards with the Oyster cards, and then I also have emergency cards inside them with my phone number and the hotel address, and just in case they get lost and can't find their way.
Which I love. It's such a good idea. London is pretty stressful to get around.
Yeah, I'm a Londoner myself, and so to know that you're trying to help the kids, so to speak, get to grips with our interesting underground system is pretty awesome.
Interesting. I like that.
Interesting is quite the word.
Yes.
Indeed. Now, have you seen this team grow since you've joined? Of course, in terms of competition they have, but on a personal level and just as people.
Yes, of course. Most of our players are between the ages of 18 and 22. And so when you spend half a year living with them, you tend to see personality changes and how they mature as human beings, and it's nice.
But is it nice all the time? Because look, they're not here right now. They're not in the studio. You have to share a house with them. Any bad habits that you can share?
So I don't live in the house because the idea of living with like 13 guys in a house just doesn't sound like the best idea. But I am there quite often. No, they're all really sweet all the time. Some of the fun things they do is, for example, we're gonna have Gesture on here. He likes to walk around the house rapping and listening to his music.
Maybe we can get a freestyle out. His English is okay, right?
And the guys just kind of, they run around and roughhouse with one another, and they're just all really sweet.
Yeah, talking about that, how long did it take for the guys to start acting like friends as opposed to just teammates?
So initially, the London Spitfire was comprised of two already established teams, and they had come in. So, you had two groups of friends who had to work together. But just because of their really mild nature, I think it took maybe a couple weeks, a month,
okay.
And everyone, because they all respect one another as good players. And, when you live together, you kind of have to quickly adjust. And, at this point, they're all they're all just buddy. They hang out with each other in the off season. You know, they take vacations together, and you call them holidays.
Yes.
And they're all very good friends.
I mean, you're kind of on a holiday now, right?
Yes, in a way.
A Spitfire.
In a way.
It's a working
Yeah,
holiday.
I was going to say, I feel like there's a lot of work involved. But speaking of like how the team have gelled, you've obviously had 2 new additions. So you've had Guard and I think Krillin, if I'm saying that right. So how are they fitting in? Have they had much time to get to know the
No,
others?
not yet. So we have just signed them. Obviously, as soon as we did, the core group came here. So the 2 guys, we've included them. We have a chat room that we talk to each other, and they're all like, "Oh, have a good time in London, guys. Like, you know, bring us back something." And but as soon as this London trip is over, the boys will be jumping right into boot camp. And for 6 weeks, they're going to all live together and adjust to one another again as they practice and prepare for season 2.
Yeah, and do you think the addition of these 2 new players is going to help the team get even better? Because, of course, you won the season, but at points, it was up and down, right?
Of course. And every season, as every meta changes, you're always going to have players who play, you know, they have strengths in different heroes and play styles change. And I think the addition of these 2 players, Krillin is more of, he's a true sub, like a bench player. He's going to come in, really learn from Bedosin and try to see how he can work together and help the team. With Guard, it's great because he's a great Sombra player, and he's another DPS we could add to the lineup. So with Birdring, Prophet, and Guard together, I think the amount of heroes that we can cover will just increase, and we'll be able to kind of rotate them in depending on what we need them for.
I mean, you guys have shown that you are a really incredible unit. So I have no doubt that these guys are going to fit in, that we're going to see more incredible performances. And obviously, the incredible performance that you gave last season won you $1 million.
$1 million.
We did.
$1 million.
$1 million. So what's that been like?
Oh, I mean, it's fantastic. So a small story I wanted to share was when we went into the finals, we were a team of 7. Closer, unfortunately, has left our team, and he's going to be starting for the Dallas Fuel. But the way that the monetary breakdown happens is the amount of maps that you play during playoffs and finals. And as you know, Closer only played 3 maps. But he was a really integral part of the preparation. He helped with the strategy. And when it was payout time, all the boys decided, they said, you know what? We should just divide it out by 7, no matter what, even though Closer didn't play. And we played more maps. And unanimously, they said, you know what? That we are a team and we should divide out the money altogether. So that just goes to show you how caring and how much they really do truly value each other. And $1 million. It went into a lot of shoes, a lot of designer clothes.
Yeah, I've actually seen some. I'm not going to point out the specific items, but the guys looking fresh and fly.
They
as
sure
hell.
are, but they also do send money home to their parents
Good.
and help out their families in terms of, you know, rent and everyday life. So
Now, you guys have got off to a fantastic start in the Overwatch League. Talking about the league more generally, what do you think is in the future for the league, and what are your hopes for it?
Well, the league, obviously, it's only been 1 season, right? And then next season, we've got 20 teams, and the league itself is just trying new things, and they're trying to grow. And with all these franchises coming in, all this money pouring in, it can only get better. You know, it can only grow, and I think, you know, as they add more teams in Europe and in Asia, I'm excited. I'm excited to see how this is all going to unfold, but this is just the beginning. That's how I see it.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I've been very excited to get you on the show, so thanks for being here.
Oh, no problem. This was a lot of fun.
Now, we all know that Prophet is a DPS king when it comes to Overwatch, but how did he fare in our headshot challenge?
All right, everybody, it's time for the CSGO Headshot Challenge featuring Prophet. Let's get into it. Prophet, are you looking forward to this challenge, and are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, as soon as you make your first headshot, the clock will start. There we go, first headshot in. He's waiting until they've grouped up at the front, in front of him, which is actually a tactic that I think I figured out at one point. One of our previous guests did, and it's a good way to start things off. I had a chance to see Prophet practicing beforehand, and he had some pretty damn good tracking for a player that doesn't play CSGO too much. which of course makes sense considering he's at the highest level of Overwatch, and he's getting off to an extremely good start. Halfway, 30 seconds down, he's got another 30 seconds to go, make that 25 now. These are some good kills with the guys moving left to right and ducking and jumping. Remember, I've done this myself. It's definitely a lot harder than it looks. Almost in the final stretch now. Just about 8 seconds, guys. Can we get a chant going? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop.
Why did you get that?
Congratulations, not bad. That's a decent performance. You've got 31 kills. Are you happy? Congratulations, and a pleasure to have you on the show. He deserves a round of applause. Prophet put in a good performance, getting 31 frags. I'm proud to say just one less than yours, truly. I can see he had definitely some skills when it came to tracking and aim in general, but perhaps the Overwatch didn't necessarily translate over the Overwatch skills.
Paula, you obviously chose Prophet over Birdwing just so you can say that you've beat a DPS, but I mean, Birdwing, he's our resident Widowmaker.
Look.
You know, if you had actually gotten the right player.
Look, the guys are super talented, but it wasn't up to me, you know, I didn't pick who it was, and I think he did well, so who knows, maybe the other guys will compete in the future in the challenge.
I'm pretty sure you had it written into your contract that he had to come lower than you.
Guys, look, let's just leave it at that. Elle, please, take it away.
All right, well, whilst we're talking competition, last time our competition winner, Alex Tipping, he correctly predicted the winner of the game-breaking challenge and bagged himself an Omen by HP gaming bundle, which contained a gaming chair, a headset, and a monitor. So if you are thinking, that sounds pretty good right about now, here's how you can get your hands on a very special prize this week. Now, we know London Spitfire are a pretty incredible unit, but what happens when we create a little division in the ranks? That's right, in this game-breaking challenge, we are going to be pitting Spitfire against Spitfire.
Indeed, 2 teams of 3 Spitfires will be descending into the Overwatch 1 versus 1 arena using randomized mirrored heroes in a race to win 5 games. Winning player stays on, losing player subs off, and a new player replaces him.
But who will those winning players be? Will it be Team A or Team B? And if you can guess correctly, you could be in with a chance of winning a brand new OMEN 15 gaming laptop.
To get involved and for full terms and conditions, simply follow the link on screen now or the one in Twitch chat.
And make sure you get your answers in before 7:20 because we are going to be announcing the winner at the end of the show. Good luck.
And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to get involved. And talking about getting involved, let's invite our next guest to the stage. He goes by the name of Mr. Jason Kaplan. J-Cap.
I mean, people think I'm Jeff Kaplan, but
No.
I'll take you get my name right this time.
Exactly. How's it going, sir? Welcome to London. Your first time here?
Yeah, first time here. I'm enjoying it. Got to see some double-decker buses. Got to see some black cabs. Always hear about. It's nice.
Culture.
Yeah, I know, right? Good fish and chip shops.
Now, it's your first time in London, but I know for a fact you were in Birmingham at EGX because it was on this very show. So how did you find it?
It was great. It was great. One thing that I always love about going to conventions like that is you see the parents with their children, like supporting their interests, supporting their hobbies. And I know personally for me, my parents did that for me as well. So seeing them be able to do that and, you know, let them play games, let them be themselves and help encourage them is always great to see.
Now, Jason, of course, this episode we're featuring the London Spitfire, and they're involved in a newer esport, Overwatch. You have been involved in esports titles for quite some time. What's it been like for you to go between different titles and stay adaptable and be able to have the knowledge for all those different aspects of esports?
It's a really rough thing transitioning between game to game to game. I think if you ask any caster in general, they'll want to stick to one because then you have all the knowledge, you have all the experience, and more importantly, you get to know all the players you're talking about. It's tough to do, but the upside to it is you learn a lot about how to cast. You know, I feel like now I can cast a MOBA, I can cast an FPS. I've even casted StarCraft once in RTS.
Mario Tennis versus Paul Gilroy.
You know, we don't need to talk about my 10-3 record against you in that one with your Toadette
You've kept
kicks.
score. Look, continue your answer. I didn't make any point there.
You know, I totally agree with you. You know, having been a caster too, like just getting to know all the players and things like that. It's hard.
Yeah, but I mean, like you worked in multiple games as well. Like you know how it is to kind of like adapt yourself and like build on yourself as well over across many different titles.
Now, one title in particular that I want to talk about is the PGL Quake Champion Open Finals, which, I mean, that's a title that we haven't heard of for a while. It's one of the kind of, you know, the old
one of the
titles.
originals, exactly.
Yeah, one of the originals. And we're
Exactly.
starting to see a lot more of it because obviously Bethesda are going all in on this. They want this to be their esports. So do you think that we are going to see it make a comeback?
My honest answer is I hope so. I think the problem right now with like esports and gaming is everyone wants like quick satisfaction. That's why you see a lot of battle royale games. People drop in, they play, they die, they re-queue again instantly. And I think people have kind of fallen away from like self-improvement when it comes to playing. Quake, it's a 1v1 game at the moment, and people hate losing. People hate, you know, playing against themselves and having no one to blame. I've personally been in chat sometimes blaming my team when it was my fault, but you don't have the luxury of doing that. But like you said, Paula, it's one of the originals, and it is definitely a game that needs to be there, and I hope to see it succeed, especially with the players you have. You have like your Rafa, who played Overwatch as well, actually, for Team Liquid. He's been playing Quake for 10, 15 years, and he actually just won that tournament too, so it's good to see you have players with that history still around.
Yeah, talking about history and the way games develop over time, with regards to Overwatch, what do you think about how the game has been so far in a competitive sense since launch?
It's gone like a similar way to, I think, like League of Legends, where you have like these set metas take over the course of the game, and then you have eventually someone, or either there's a patch or someone figures out like what's the niche to break it, and it keeps adapting from there. I think it's nice because everyone's always like learning as much as they possibly can, and it really forces teams, unlike any other game, to adapt their like roster. You know, you look at, I think the perfect example was like Nixel during the season. Like they were on the top, you know, they were almost unbeatable, and then a new meta comes around, and hey, they can't play it.
It's all about adjusting,
Yeah.
you know. And,
Yeah, it sounds like you're in agreement.
Yeah,
Suzie.
I'm totally in agreement, and I think that's good, and it keeps the game fresh. And you know, eventually, even as a viewer, if you're watching the same composition and the same game over and over again, it gets a little stale. And so, with these patch changes and new heroes being introduced, and just it's fun, and
Exactly, the new heroes.
the
for
new
me.
heroes, and it keeps you know, if you're playing at home, you know, it kind of sparks your interest to play a new hero or try a different role or things like that. So I'm totally in agreement with you.
And it also gives like potential because you know you have like your certain mains.
Yeah.
Like Prophet was like a Tracer main like last year. And then you have a new, you know, hero come out, Hammond or Wrecking
Brigitte.
Ball.
Oh
or
my gosh.
Oh, Brigitte as well.
Like Prophet on Brigitte, when that came out, he just was amazing. Everyone's just like, wow, we thought, you know, this other player would have been good, but it's actually Prophet and things like that. Like everyone thought Hammond was going to be a tank, right? And no, a healer actually.
Yeah.
They were using it as a support, and then we found out tanks are using it better. Things like that only the pros can really kind of play around with and figure out.
And the best part of the competitive sense of that is it's always forced you to learn, like a new hero, to learn how to play him, how to play him appropriately, and then seeing, you know, players who were like DPS mains go to support as well. Like for instance, I think it was Haxel way back in the day with Runaway. He played DPS and he switched over to support. You could do both equally well. It forces you in general to be a really all well-rounded player, but at the same time, you still have that niche of like he's the best Hammond in the world or he's the best diva in the world, and that gives you an in to a lot of teams.
That's it. It's great having you two here. I feel like I'm getting so much Overwatch knowledge,
Oh,
which
yeah,
is
for
like
sure.
definitely my game that I love. So I'm like, this is what I need. I need to. And obviously, speaking of Overwatch, I'm glad that we've got you both here because we want to chat the headlines with you, and they are obviously very Overwatch focused for this special show because one of the big pieces of news that we want to talk about is the fact that Overwatch have announced the league will be returning in February next year, and obviously a little, you know, there's been a few changes there. So we are obviously, as you mentioned, seeing quite a few more teams, just, you know, another 8 teams there. And then we're also going to be seeing each team playing fewer games, but there will be more games overall. So what do you guys make of those changes?
Needed.
Needed. Well, for me, it's needed. I think it gives the players a well-rested break. Playing 2 games every week, 40 games, it was tough. And that was one of the reasons why around stage 3, a lot of the teams started getting really, you know, just the guys were getting burnt out. And it was really hard. I think the changes this season will help out a lot. Sure, it's going to start in February. I think it ends in September. It's going to be a much longer season, but kind of spread out so that we don't have the issue. You know, maybe it'll get rid of some of the issues that we had last season.
Yeah, something that's not even talked about really is like the burnout factor.
Yeah,
the thing is, like,
in all of esports, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Talent or players or even people just involved in organizations. Like
the production, everyone, they get super tired when it's just always go, go, go. I mean, you guys all work in production, you know that, you know. But I'm very looking forward to these changes for season 2.
And it's nice to have a team have the ability, if they have like one match that week, just focus on that match, just prepare for that match, because then you get the whole reading into things and preparing something special for it. You can see a lot more like really cool plays.
Yeah.
Dude. Now let's move on to headline number 2. Thank you guys for your thoughts on headline number 1. Moving on, Korean Contenders champions Runaway, again another Korean team, have been signed by an undisclosed Overwatch League team for this next season. Guys, what are your general thoughts on this? I think it's quite exciting.
Thank God. I mean, the thing is, like, Runaway before OWL Season 1 kicked off, I was amazed, and a lot of other people were amazed that they weren't picked up as a team, just as a core, because they were, no, I mean, the only thing, they weren't just amazing, but everyone loved them.
Yeah.
Like, the entire community loved watching them. They loved, like, the personalities behind them, and to see them, like, mostly miss out on getting through to OWL was a little bit of a shame. So I'm happy for them, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's great. Obviously, picking up a full Korean team has worked for me.
Slight bias, perhaps,
Just a little bias, but no, I think that's great because then they come over with that synergy that's already established, and then they'll just be able to work, and it's more going to be the adaptation of how to live in a different country, as opposed to how do I work together with this team. And so yeah, I think that's wonderful, and it gives them like yeah.
I just want to ask a question. Am I allowed to ask questions? Is that?
Of course, man.
Yeah, we'll allow it.
How did it work
We'll
for
permit
London?
it.
Sorry.
again,
how did it work for London Spitfire?
well, I mean,
Because moving halfway across the world is not easy to do.
I mean, that's what I mean. Like when you come over with a group of people that you already know, it's kind of like being on a class trip, right? So so for example, if I made 1 or 2 of the guys come to London by themselves, they would just be completely lost. But the fact that they're enjoying this new experience together kind of makes it a better experience. And so when all the Korean guys as a team came over to London Spitfire, they knew each other. So everything that they did that was new, they could experience together. And I think that kind of helped them adjust to LA living.
Well, I have to say, I'm very excited about Runaway. We're hoping they're going to be Toronto. That's kind of the whispers in the wind. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to see them, especially because they're going to be Hewlett-Packard, who used to be in London Spitfire.
That's true.
But speaking of London Spitfire, there's not quite enough room on our tiny couch to fit the entire team. But luckily, they have nominated one very special player for us to chat to today, and that is none other than Gesture.
Hey! Gesture, great to see you. Great to have you here in London
Hello.
and on our sofa. Now, we've been gathering questions from all of the Spitfire fans around the world out there on social media, and we're going to pose some of them to you and whoever else would like to answer on sofa. The first one comes from Will Derrick. And by the way, everybody, Suzie might translate, Gesture might reply in English, whatever you guys feel comfortable with. Spitfire won the first season and have won the hearts of their fans. How confident are the guys for season 2?
다음 시즌에 대해서 어떻게 생각?
이번 시즌도 잘해서 이제 우승을 했고, 그리고 다음 시즌도 이제 저희 팀원들하고 다 같이 했던 것처럼 잘하면 될 것 같아요.
Now, our next question comes from @NovaXRangerX. Yeah, that was a bit of a mouthful.
Was anything capitalized in that?
Yeah,
Of
Nova
course,
and Ranger,
yeah.
and the X's are lowercase, very aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah. Now, he wants, or he or she would like to know if you are progressing with learning English and how's it been?
영어 배우고 있는.
I'm practicing English, but hard for me.
That was good though.
Good,
That was
yeah.
impressive.
Guys, round of applause.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
That was better than my English.
I'm trying to learn Spanish at
Exactly.
the moment, and I would not dare say it live on air. So
That's what I
that's
mean.
awesome.
Incredible.
All right, next question comes from Doku, potentially a Sith Lord. What game other than OW would you most like to be pro in if you could?
프로게이머 오버워치가 아니었으면 어느 게임 프로게이머를 하고 싶어?
League of Legends.
Oh, okay. Yeah, apparently a lot of the guys have a background in playing League of Legends. Can we ask Gesture what his background is in gaming competitively before Overwatch?
그냥 제가 예전에 한 3년 전에 뭐 중국 LSPL 그 2부 리그에서 잠깐 뛰었었고 그리고 한 그 뒤에 반년 정도 이제 일본 LJL이라는 리그에서 한 뛰었었고 그냥 그러다가 이제 오버워치가 나오면서 오버워치에 흥미가 생겨서 갈아타게 됐어요.
Awesome.
Yeah, he definitely made the right decision. I think safe to say, very good at Overwatch. Now, we got a really good question actually from @Decron Gaming. This is a
Decron.
very good question. What do you think of the Torbjorn rework?
정확히는 못 봤는데 좀 되게 캐릭터 많이 바뀌었고 좋아진 것 같아요. 쓸 수 있는 만큼.
I think that's he was not viable before. I definitely like the way you put that. He's now a viable character.
I'd like to jump into a question from the main man, Scrimmy Mingus, who says, which character needs buffing and which characters need nerfing? In your opinion, Gesture.
윈선 needs buff.
Winston needs a buff.
Okay.
Okay.
Because then he'll be even better. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then which ones, or which one do you think needs nerfing?
Doomfist?
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, we've just seen a big rework on him, so that's
Yes.
interesting. So you think he's too strong now?
야, 그 약간 뭐라 해야지? 이동기가 너무 많은 게 되게 좋은 것
We
같아요.
actually have another question from Ace on Twitter that relates to the Doomfist Sombra meta. Is Gesture and are his teammates happy that that wasn't the meta during the OWL season?
네, 아무래도 그 메타에서 제가 게임을 좀 해봤는데 윈스턴이나 뭐 메인 탱커로 좀 캐리하기도 힘들고 그래서 전 예전 메타였던 게 더 다행이었던 것 같아요.
Now, we have a question from Will Farr, and he wants to know, who's your favourite British player?
붐박스.
Oh, good choice. Yeah. I have to say, I'm a big fan of Boombox.
I thought he was going to say Stylosa. I know it's not technically fair if he's not an OWL player,
count.
but he's the British consultant for the London Spitfires.
Yeah, but Boombox was actually, on Philly Fusion, who
Of
actually
course, of
made
course.
it to the finals.
Yes,
you
yeah,
know.
exactly. Yeah, we've got to root for the people that actually make
No,
it to the league.
absolutely.
and
But
don't
shout
have
out to
many of them.
Stylosa as well. And Suzie,
okay.
what do you think about Stylosa and his role in Overwatch? 'Cause I wanted to ask about that. In your Overwatch team, like what is British consultant? Because we had some joke from them about it. What does it exactly mean?
It's been fun. Stylosa definitely tries to teach them more British things. For example, he had Marmite, right? You ate it? How is Marmite? 솔직하게 얘기해 괜찮아.
Nice and salty.
그냥 좀
It was.
음식이 아니라 약간 몬스터 같아요.
He's like, it wasn't really food. It felt like a monster. Like I'm eating a monster. And also, he had Gesture watch EastEnders. And,
Oh, no.
And he has taught him a very valuable phrase. 뭐지? 스타일로사가 가르쳐준 거.
어떤 거요?
Get out my.
Get out my pub?
Get out my pub.
Get out of my pub.
Oh,
You're going to
okay.
use that a lot. I like it. I feel like
Get
that's
out my
useful.
pub.
Nice. Good stuff.
So, he's just been kind of going through and teaching the guys very important things, obviously.
Yes, I mean, they're basically British now, clearly.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, just teaching us different cultural things and, having the boys understand England, I guess.
Just before we go to the next section, Elle, I had a very important question come in last minute from @Parler on Twitter, who says that during the show, Suzie Kim said that Gesture was a fantastic rapper in English, and we're just wondering if we could ever get a freestyle out of him, whether it was pre-recorded or maybe on air.
래프 잘한다고 소문이
아니요,
났는데.
아니요.
I thought I was slipping in. Sorry, Elle, over to you.
No, I like it. Good decision. Now, earlier on, we asked the London Spitfire team for their best tips at world-dominating greatness. No pressure. So if you want to up your Overwatch game, pay attention.
안녕하세요. 런던 스핏파이어. 저는 런던 스핏파이어에서 메인 힐러를 맡고 있는 너스입니다. 팁에 대해서 소개해볼까 하는데요. 우선 첫 번째 팁은 그 슈퍼 점프라고 보통 메르시 수호천사를 했을 때 이거를 쓰기 위해서는 조작법이 있는데 조작법 같은 경우는 이제 안기 키와 시프트 키를 동시에 하면서 마지막에 좀 걸리는 느낌이 들었을 때 점프를 하면 되는 거예요. 이렇게 하늘을 더 높게 일반적으로 했을 때는 이런 식인데 이제 이거를 시전하면은 이렇게 하늘을 날아서 더 높은 고지대를 혼자 올라갈 수 있어요. 그리고 이제 다음 소개 팁은 부활할 때 좀 이렇게 대놓고 서서 부활을 하는 경우가 좀 많더라고요. 저런 부활보단 이제 부활 시전 시간 동안 일정 거리만 유지되면 내가 어디에 있든 상관이 없거든요. 이렇게 벽 뒤로 끼고 부활을 한 다음에 솟는 방향이거나 하면은 좀 더 비교적 안정적으로 부활을 할 수 있는 것 같아요. 그리고 이제 만약에 2층 여기에 저희 팀원이 죽었다고 했을 경우 이렇게 올라와서 부활 키를 누른 상태로 떨어지는 동안 또 똑같게 스페이스바를 누르고 있으면 하늘에서 날고 있는 상태가 돼서 한 번에 내려오지도 않고 좀 안정적으로 부활을 할 수 있어요. 하늘에 있는 걸.
안녕하세요. 런던 스피파이어의 DPS 버드링입니다. 오늘은 위도우 메이커의 팁을 좀 알려드리고자 합니다. 일단 만약에 탑 트인 공간에서 위도우 1대1을 하게 됐을 때는 점프를 자주 안 하는 게 좋은 게 일단 위도우 1대1에서는 서로 마주친 상태에서는 점프를 웬만하면 피하시는 게 좋아요. 왜냐면 이제 점프할 때는 무빙이 제한되기 때문에 사실 점프보다는 안기 무빙, 이렇게 좌우로 안기 무빙 하시는 게 좋고 정면에서 나가는 것보다 일단 이제 시야를 보여주고 나가는 것보다 아래에서 떨어져서 지형점을 이용해서 살짝 이렇게 가는 게 오히려 상대방 위도우한테나 덜 지키고 이제 질각을 낼 수 있기 때문에 이런 것도 추천드립니다.
안녕하세요. 런던 스피파이어에서 서브 탱커를 맡고 있는 퓨리라고 합니다. 오늘 디바 팁을 좀 알려드리려고 합니다. 개인적으로 디바는 팀의 코어라고 생각을 해서요. 좀 너무 리스크 있는 플레이는 자제하면 좋을 것 같아요. 막 예를 들어 혼자 무리하게 메카가 터져버리면 한타를 시작했을 때 메카가 없게 되면 팀이 좀 불리한 싸움을 해야 될 때가 있어서 또 다른 팁은 이렇게 앞에 상대방을 공격하고 있을 때 상대방에 때리는 거에 너무 에임을 집중하기보다는 좀 다른 상대방의 플레이어들의 플레이나 상대방의 중요한 투사체들 그런 거를 좀 더 에이밍을 하면서도 넓게 시야를 보면서 봐주면 좋을 것 같아요.
Well, they have talked the talk, but can they walk the walk? It is time for our very special London Spitfire game-breaking challenge.
Yes, and which team is going to dominate in our 1v1 extravaganza? Here is Elle and Jason to talk you through the action.
Sorry, I mean, when I hear everyone clapping, I want to clap as well.
Well, this one's pretty exciting, I have to say. It is our game-breaking challenge that pits Spitfire against Spitfire. Now, this is a pretty special one. I don't think we've seen play at this level yet, so I'm very excited. And we're going to be kicking this off with Gesture v Fury.
Thing about this is, if you guys are just joining us, it's going to be a mirror match, 1v1, so you have to play the same hero against each other, and it's a little bit of a limited pool. No one wants to see Sombra versus Sombra with a 30-minute stealth off to eventually find each other. So it's going to be exciting. I would just hate to be that player that goes against Prophet as a tracer, because you know you're never going to win that. You know you're in the worst timeline possible, and Thanos isn't going to save you.
Yeah, I don't like to come up against a Tracer in any game, let alone one of the world's best Tracers, but I guess we'll see how they do. As we said, Gesture v Fury, so let's check it out. Okay, so we're going to kick things off with Gesture v Fury, as we mentioned, which is a pretty interesting pairing. We did not pick the pairings, I think.
Yeah, they picked them. So we originally want to do like tank versus tank, DPS versus DPS, support versus support, and they're like, no. We want to do it our own way. And hey, I'm not going to say no to them. They won season 1, you know? Who am I to say that? Oh, well, hello. That was a direct rocket.
Yeah. Consistently impressed by accuracy, as though that wouldn't be something we would expect from a team this good.
There's a slow start.
Yeah, this is your
But
prediction.
when he gets rolling, he's unstoppable. So now we got Bird Ring coming in.
Okay,
So Bird Ring going to be on the red side here. Wait,
you guys possibly can't see colors, but
on the blue side. There we go. But you can see though, he's 200 HP. Blue side looking good. Bird Ring looking like, you know, he's a DPS player, which, oh yeah, he is, but no. He's down to 40 HP. I don't know if he's got this.
I was going to say, this looks like a close one.
Thing is, you have to keep in mind, if we do hit the time limit, how this works, then the capture point comes into effect. And you can't contest it if you have 40 health.
Yeah, there's no hanging around defending anywhere.
Not against a Junkrat.
If you're,
Oh,
yeah.
there it
There we
is.
go.
Blue team coming back here. Bird Ring coming out strong. And now Prophet coming in DPS v DPS.
Yeah.
Early use of the biotic field, so mitigating a lot of damage, but also means His opponent, Birdring, can go in aggressively now because he doesn't have it anymore.
And this is what we want to see. We want to see two incredible players, DPS players, on Soldier.
I mean, they're all incredible players. Let's be fair, you know.
But as in the character that we're going for, the hero, like, this is a good, you know, we're not seeing them take each other on as May.
I mean, when we were warming up here, Nuss 3-0'd the other team. So, you know, let's be fair. You know, he's definitely deserving of a DPS role within this team.
Yeah, definitely. But what I'm saying is we want to see DPS playing good DPS characters, because obviously in this they have, oh, fantastic.
So the thing is, right, so they're swapping it out, as you can see. There's no sensitivity changes. You're just going straight in. Genji versus Gengu.
Yeah, so as you were saying, they are just jumping in. It's obviously just a fun matchup. I don't know how fun is it afterwards when they...
You say fun, but look at their faces, and I think they're taking this more serious than a lot of other competitions they've had.
Really intense.
More serious than some teams they've played who have not been able to take a victory. But anyways, Dash is gonna be back up.
Yeah,
moving back in. Nuss is looking like he might be able to pull this off here. Nuss, my boy! And of course, it's going to be Sombra of all heroes, which I was told, you know, we fixed the heroes to make it more exciting, and then we get Sombra v Sombra. So I think they have maybe a you know, gentleman's agreement, no stealth.
Which is how I like to play. I have to say, I'm not the stealthiest player, so I'm always like, yeah, let's just...
I was going to ask you what SR you're in, because it might make sense if you never use stealth.
Yeah, no, I hate stealth. I like to just fly in. I'm very aggressive.
But that's why you play Diva.
Yeah, Diva main,
7
fly
HP.
in.
Aw, he had the dream, but it didn't work out for him. Doesn't matter. It's first to 5. Doomfist versus Doomfist, though. So we're gonna have some fisties happen here.
Now, Doomfist is a hero I really like. I like that he's had his little makeover. He's come back. He's a lot more effective now because he was redundant for ages, and actually he's very fun to watch. I think. Oh, but not for long.
For the 3 seconds we had him on camera, it was fun to watch. Yeah, no, China was a big fan of them.
Yeah.
It was McCree Doomfist a lot of the days. So now we got Birdring coming in. Support versus DPS. Probably any support player's worst nightmare. Especially if you're up against players of this caliber. But hey, he's dealt with everyone in OWL. He can handle a teammate here. And if I'm not, okay, so Prophet and Nuss actually are rooming together while they're here too. So I wanted to see them go head to head just because they have a little grudge match. Oh, he's gonna jump in. Again, it comes down to who Wraith forms first, pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, look at these shots. Playing the high ground to a T here.
So we've seen our first Wraith form, holding on to it, but, you know, I think that was pretty... Oh, didn't save him.
Somebody sign this man to OWL. How many points are we at? 3 to 4. So if the red team wins this round, you know what? It's over. And Fury, Nuss, and Birdring will be very, very sad.
So a lot of pressure on Gesture. He's got the fate of his team on his shoulders right now, but I feel like if anybody could pull it off, it would be him.
Let's see. Watching him come in now. Remember, sensitivities are completely different. It's going to be very hard to play Tracer v Tracer when you need to be able to go in for those flicks when you do blink in. He's taking a lot of damage here, and he has his recall, but oh, he's not going to get up that high in HP. Oh my god!
This is such a good map for Tracer. Lots of little hiding spots, lots of places to blink out from as a surprise.
This is a little awkward fight there. All right, so we will have a tie-up here. Gesture's going to lose Birdring. Can he do it again? Who's going to do the better McCreep here? Prophet, Birdring for the title. You don't win anything.
Just our...
Oh, hello! Okay.
Wow.
So, Birdring goes 3-0 at the end.
Congratulations to Fury, Nuss, and Birdring. That was a pretty spectacular victory. I'm hoping the team are all still on speaking terms, but thank you, London Spitfire, for joining us for this very special game-breaking challenge. Well, I have to say, that was a lot of fun. I think I got carried in the casting a little bit there by Jason. Thank you very much.
It's all you. It's all you.
Well, speaking of winners, if you look at the screen right now, we are announcing the winner of a brand new OMEN 15 gaming laptop.
Indeed, and to find out when you can watch the next episode and to catch up on the latest esports news, do not forget to head on over to OMENesportsreport.com.
But I guess that's pretty much it for today. So all that's left to do is to say a massive thank you to London Spitfire.
Big thank
we
you.
have loved having you on the show. And of course, to Suzie and Jason, you guys have been fantastic guests. We have loved having you here. Now, of course, if this wasn't quite enough Omen by HP fun for you, then stay tuned because we have got none other than Miss Ella Cronin coming up next. But for now, that's all from us. Thank you very much for joining us.
Take care, everybody.